Hey, give thanks. We're into another session of Talk to Me Dad. I'm really excited about this one in a lot of ways, and just have an opportunity to constantly, and I'm praying and hoping that whenever you all have the time to check out some of the other Talk to Me Dads that's we already have online on YouTube. That's the live, what you're seeing right now, but also we have it on Spotify. And spirit willing, it'll grow. But in doing so, I have a great honor and a pleasure to have this brother, more so because on the outside looking in, I've had the pleasure of getting to see this brother in this community who is a hooper. And I'm really touched by having you in this because this is pretty much like your home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm saying that to say to those who don't know, this brother I actually started seeing him playing on this basketball court. And what is interesting about this brother, in a sense, in the words of some of the brothers who I know that he has played against, so they call him the silent assassin, and meaning that the brother got his game is on, and he quietly does what he has to do. One of the things he shared with me in the process is that we're not going to talk about it, we're going to be about it. And so I just want to take this time to have the pleasure to bring this brother in by the name of Chris Nixon. And I'm so grateful, brother, more than you could ever know, because on the outside looking in, to me, you have a really mystiqueness about you, you know, and a sweet admiration, and just my interaction of seeing how you coach, your determination, and I'm seeing you running these girls back and forth, and just the same shot over and over and over, even if their arms are tired. You know, at the same time, to be a coach, it made me wonder about what it is for you of being a father, because then I had learned in this process, when you've been coaching, that you just recently had a baby.
Yes.
And so at this moment, I'm just going to ask you, how long has it been since and is this your first child?
Yeah, first of all, it's my first child, and it's been about a month and a half since she's been born. So it's been a true honor just to have a new soul on this earth that I'm responsible for.
Yeah, bro. So I want to dive into this. And so I'm going to ask you just straightforward and your gift of going through that experience. I'm not sure where you were there, but I'm going to say, talk to me, Dad. Talk to me what that experience was to go through that process for you. And before your child actually was born, what were you feeling inside of yourself? What was that feeling like? I've shared in some of these talks when I've heard people say, my wife is pregnant. I used to say to men, we're pregnant. You're pregnant too. And they said, no. What do you mean by that? I said, because something changed in you. Either it's thought, focus on responsibility, your time, how you're going to show up. That's part of the process. I'd love to hear from you. How was that for you before and now that she is on the planet now?
How can I start this? Well, I mean, before it was just more so about me, walking on this earth. And then you meet your significant other whom, you know, you want to build a kingdom with. Or you just have your kingdom and she kind of comes in and now she's a part of it to be a helpmeet to you. Kind of went on that experience and dove down that, and, you know, eventually she came to me and said she was pregnant. So let's just get to it. At that time, I've dealt with females being pregnant and losing a child. So to me, it's more so, like I say, talk about it, or be about it, don't talk about it. I'm more on the action. So I got to see things for it to more so be manifested to be true. It took a while for me to actually tap into this is my child coming onto this earth. But when I did, I really got to change a lot of things as far as the way I walk on this earth. I got a responsibility I got to take care of. I got to protect not only this new soul, but the mother of a child. To me, that's a great responsibility. Some may see it as a burden, or could be a burden. But it's an honor. You know, I accept that, and I take pleasure in that every day.
So in that sharing for you, were there any discomforts that came up with you during the time of pregnancy, and also witnessing this belly getting full with you
Yeah.
and her. This is a moment of co-creating. How was that? Any challenges or awareness to step in your space during that time?
Just kind of, I'm more the laid back type.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have to get antsy and just kind of allow things to kind of play its way out because I believe in, I would say, predestination. Things are going to be what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
The soul is going to come in here, and just got to prepare myself for it, or prepare the atmosphere that it's coming into. Not only just from a physical, you got your house, you got your car, transportation, you got food and all that, but from a spiritual sense as well. Because you, as a father and as a woman, you two have to come together in the spiritual realm. Because first, that soul is coming from a spiritual sense, and then physically it comes into the birth, into the physical, into this world. And that far, we take care of it. But before that, we got to do our job and making sure there's no negativity. There's no animosity. There's no bitterness, envy, which plays into the adrenochrome, or you want to go into the blood that goes into the child.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that child comes out hyper, or, just is a little bit behind the 8 ball. Instead of, really having a good energy around it, coming into the world with a good energy and having it start off on a good foot, because we've all been through stuff. So, a lot of families go through different backgrounds or been through different backgrounds, and that plays a big part in the generations that goes on down the line.
So with that space of knowing that we all come from different backgrounds with those particular challenges, what was your personal work? Not just with her, but when you're alone, knowing that this time is coming, what is your personal work to help you work on envy, insecurities, or things that may appear a bit difficult to manage to get through? I know for me at times, as a performer, that was my route, and that was always with people, but behind closed doors, I had some personal work that I had to do to help find that balance, and it wasn't easy at all times. So I'm just asking, what are some of your personal work?
I have high expectations of myself, and so I would say that's the little bit of insecurity that I will face, because it's always making sure I get to that line, but also have enough energy to get over it, because I ain't just trying to get there. I'm always trying to make sure everything is to the T, and that's a blessing and a curse in itself. But like I say, I take it with honor, and I try to do that every day.
Well, we give thanks and sharing that, man. So when the gift came, I mean, truly, the choosing of this being have chose these parents, and like the universe is like, here's your gift to witness that. Were you there during the pregnancy? Was you doing the whole time? How was that process for you? And to witness, to see for the first time, I always say, yourself coming out of another being that y'all co-create. How was that for you?
Well, man, I can't not get back to just my mentality of like just calmness. I try to, if I'm in an environment, I'm kind of the one to kind of keep things level. So I'm there making sure, my lady has water, making sure she has Pedialyte, and making sure she has some type of protein to eat during her contractions. She's going through them, they're mild. I'm just kind of talk to her, and as it got stronger and stronger, I couldn't do nothing about it, but just try to coach her to breathe, take deep breaths, and work on controlling your body. Again, it starts inside of you. So if she can do it inside of her, then her body will react to what she's saying. But she has to believe it. So she started doing that, and as time went on, she got, contractions started hitting back to back and back. So about this time, man, I'm like, man, okay, man, what's gonna happen? Is the ambulance gonna come, or what's going on? So she kept going, having contractions, and eventually I put on some Bob Marley.
Okay.
Didn't have on the music before, but I threw on Bob Marley. What was it? I think Everything Gonna Be All Right. And just started singing at the moment. I kind of grabbed her, and contractions got stronger and stronger. And before you know it, I'm making sure everything is going the way it needs to go. I had the honor to deliver my child.
Ooh.
From contractions all the way to the end. And when I
Wow.
say the end, I can't take all the all the gratitude. I owe a lot of respect to my woman, my wife. She did a lot. Annette is her name. She did a lot. But together, we brought forth this child, and as it came out, we had a water birth. It came out through the water because I believe that the soul child is in water, so allow it to come out through water. Have a better transition. That's what we always kind of believed in, and so that happened, and I, pulled her out, and she started crying, and I took a moment, before that, as we was having contractions, I was like, man, can I really do this? Because it was me. No doctor, no nurse. I was everything.
Wow.
So I got this being counting on me to deliver her child, my child, make sure it's safe. So I took that, like I said, with honor. And I would say all praises to the Most High. Everything went the way it needed to, and my child is healthy.
Wow, beloved, thank you so much for opening that door. I mean, literally, as you're sharing, a lot opened up here, and what is your beloved's name?
Annette.
Annette. I know you're watching this probably for the first time or whenever you're going to watch this. I just want to, give thanks for being who you are, one, as a gift on this planet. I find at times that we as men, or how society has raised or demonstrated to us, we haven't taken the time to honor you all. And so I want to take this time to say that. And what I'm feeling from your beloved here is it's like a door open, and I saw him go through a portal just now, just remembering those moments. And here we are, being an opportunity to allow you to feel the depth of this conversation, and to feel what I just felt from you as you begin to go back down that corridor of witnessing, and being able to feel her in that moment, and to know that it was just the two of you, is what you're saying, during that time. And you went through the whole process, and all the way down, was it actually down to also releasing the cord, or you have to wait?
Everything.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I am the priest of my home. It takes us as a collective group of men, because iron sharpens iron. So right now, us having this conversation, you're sharpening me, even though you might not think it. So as a collective group, we are the priest of our home. So we can't do without the other, because we might be falling off at times. We need you, brother.
Absolutely.
I need you to give me a line. What's going on? So, yeah.
Yeah. And I appreciate you sharing that. Again, it takes me back to in Mother Nature. No one, I have never known an elephant to go to school. I've never known a lion to go to school. When that baby comes out, she, he, they know exactly what to do. And there's an instinctiveness that I feel as though through society that we have allowed ourselves, based on how conditioned we are, to cut us off from that natural instinct. And having this talk to me, Dad, is to allow men to tap back into that piece. And to me, whatever desire or whatever language you choose to call source, that is where it's all coming from. Being able to be connected, to have that vision, to allow yourself to be there in that moment, and there's a guidance that's not about words. It's that there's a guidance. And if you fall into it, and I'm going to use basketball as an example, you come out with a game plan, but then there's that moment you just fall into it, and the game comes to you. And all of a sudden, things slow down because you fell into it, and now it is you. You know what I mean? So falling into that and allowing, listening into feeling, not with the words of man, but allowing spirit. They said source or God's word is silence. So being in that moment, you know, and be honest with you, in this moment as we're talking, that's what's happening right now.
When
You know
two
what I
or
mean?
more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst.
There we are. There we are, and I deeply, deeply appreciate it. So now that this, what is her name?
Zamara.
And where did that name come from?
The Spirit.
She told you. And what does Amara mean?
Well, the first of it means bitterness.
And how do you take that, if you don't mind me asking?
With an honor.
Yeah.
Because I know what it took for her to be here. To get through a lot of bitterness.
You know what is interesting? The brother who was shooting this video, I was blessed to be the matrimony of their wedding, and we do a thing. It's an African tradition: honey, pepper, salt, and you pass this around, and you let everyone taste on the tongue. Each gives you an example of what a marriage is about. It is about bitterness. It is about the honey. It is about the sweetness. It's about the sourness, you know, of life. But all together, it makes that one. So to hear that her name is that, it's like it is what life is made of. It's part of the process. Wow, man, what a gift, man. Zamora, last name?
Well, we got to
Nixon.
go to the middle name. Nixon,
Oh, okay. What's the full name?
Well, full name is Zamara. Last name is Soraya Nixon. So Soraya means the princess of the Most High. So it's how ironic that first week, like you say, you went from honey to,
to sour, to bitter, and also we use pepper. It's hot.
So first we start with bitterness, and then we go to something even greater. Last name really, to me, don't exist because that's something that was given to me.
Gotcha.
So we just stick with the two names. I'm good with that. She don't even need my last name. I know where she came from, and I know who she is. She's here for a mission, and I'm gonna get that mission out of her for sure.
So in your caretaking of those two beautiful, feminine, beautiful souls in your home, man, how we doing with that? With Mama going through her process and witnessing all that she's gone through. How are you doing?
You know, every day it's like an amazement. It's like, man, you wake up. Well, first of all, you think about days when you wake up and there is no other small being, soul on this, you know, in this bed or in the room or on the couch or just around you. But then you transition to, man, this is amazing. Like you look and like, this is me. And every day I'm thankful. I'm just thankful that I have the responsibility to take care of it. Because, I mean, to me, it's going to be fun. Because I'm going to teach her everything that I know. But even better, she got to go through her own experiences. She going to, you know, fall down. But she going to learn how to get back up and continue to go. So.
And I love there's a smile and a laugh that comes upon your face when you say it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
And in what way do you feel that would be for you being a father?
Because I know there's trials and tribulations. Without trials and tribulations, how can you be great?
Yeah.
If you have nothing going on in your life that's turmoil or bad, how do you know what's good and how can you take something so precious, valuable? So I like I say, it's gonna be trials and tribulations, but it's gonna be a lot more great moments and a lot more great experiences than anything.
Yeah, you know, there was something that you shared just a little early ago. And being a father, I found some of my greatest joys is, and my other reason of doing this too, I don't have a birth child. I married a woman with 4 children. And I've had some trials coming up with what you call miscarriage along with abortions. And this was a cry inside of me to want, I don't know what you went through. I've seen it with they don't like for me to say stepchildren, but I've seen it with my stepchildren having babies. I was there, for eight of the birth of 14. And, but I don't know what that's like to see me.
I don't think no one can put it into words. I really don't. Because you look and it's like, you see, and we have this joke we kind of play around in my house, the avatar. Like we have avatars, which is the shell that you see, the body. But what's inside that body? When we talk about energy, spirit, soul, it says the eye is the window to the soul. So when I'm holding her, I'm constantly just, talking to her, looking into her eyes, trying to see where her soul's at, where her spirit's at. When I look on the outside, yeah, that's me. But I want to know if it's me. And when I say me, it's what's deep inside her. I know it is. But it's, like I say, can't put it into words, man.
Wow. I love the fact that you actually said Avatar. You're the first. And of course, my image of Avatar comes from shows and movies. And there is an awareness of a higher self. But literally, even in the movies, to have an avatar was another making of you.
Yeah.
And to using that as a metaphor and describing her personally, I mean, for me, that's pretty powerful. I appreciate that language to know that, wow, you manifested avatar. And I use the word mana as opposed to manifest. I feel as though that man gets in the way. Mana means spirit. And that's a Hawaiian word that we use. I live there. And so when you hear mana, it's also in scriptures if folks want to look that up. But it means spirit, so I always say manifest. And to know that you're using that as a form of description of your beloved one. Wow, that's endearing.
Yeah, I mean, we all have avatars. You, me, cameraman, whoever's just everywhere. It's avatars that you see. And we're all souls and energies put on this earth for missions. We have families, we have kids, we have brothers, we have sisters. But we're all here on a mission. And what I believe and think is we all come together for that mission. The more we disperse, the more cracks and holes, not only do you have in a family. I mean, it's not that which is without that can hurt you, but that which is within. So if you seal up your holes, when we talked about the bitterness and all that, you seal up those holes, man, not only your kingdom strong, but your foundation is strong as well.
What a gift that I feel with sharing it with you is knowing that your precious one, man, is actually will be standing on a very firm foundation. Just in your heart of what it is that you're expressing. In one of these interviews, there was a sharing, and I can just speak for myself, where I had a lot of insecurities the first time when I heard that my beloved at that time, was carrying a seed, and we both got scared. We got really uncomfortable, and we were young. And in that, I did not know how to go to approach it with family or with anyone at the time, so her and I made a decision. And even when she got sick, we didn't know what that was about. We were just immature, we didn't know. In one of the interviews, which is the cameraman, he actually said for him, it was a moment of purpose coming in. And I had never had anyone talk to me about purpose, what it is to bring a life. It's just that my insecurities came in first because that was my first action. So when I hear you share, I'm hearing that you're coming to a space now of understanding that it's a purpose, you have a purpose, and your role of being responsible, creating a firm foundation. And it sounds as though that you created that way before, and now that it's here, it's the kingdom, as you use in that language, it feels very secure within inside of yourself to provide. Yeah. And one of the piece of you sharing that is being able to say to the audience, it's what's in here that solidifies as opposed to what's out there. So I just want to say thank you just for like really stating that. You said it in a way that I feel as though that it feels very acceptable, as opposed to you got to provide, you got to do this,
Yeah.
You're sharing it where you prepared in a way that you worked on yourself to get to where you are now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it wasn't an overnight experience, and I just walked into the way that I am today. We all come from different backgrounds, and we all was young, so we all do young and dumb things, and hopefully at some point everything would click. And for me, it did click, years ago, and every day from then was a journey. That journey was not always great, but it wasn't always bad. It was just, hey, what are you gaining from this? What can you learn when you kind of look back on it? In that moment that you're in it, you're not thinking about learning nothing. You're like, man, can I get out of this? Can you stop? What's going on to make this outcome the way it is? And so, like now, how can I state it? I mean, you when I say I take it as an honor, you don't have to do it. It's a choice. Do you want to provide for your child? I, unfortunately, grew up, without a father. I wouldn't say unfortunately, because my mom was a hell of a mom. She raised 4 of us, 3 boys, 1 girl. And she took care of us to the best of her ability, and I appreciate her with the dearest. But there's things as a man that you lack if you only have one adult in the house. The woman can only give you a perspective, and the man provides other perspective. That's why you need 2. But you still can make it with 1. And you sometimes be that much greater. You just have to develop the things that you lack, because there's a yin to a yang. There's a good to a bad. There's balance. Can't have one without the other.
What were some of your examples for you? I love the fact that you definitely give honor to moms, because definitely in the community that I grew up, I had both parents up until I was 20. But in my community, there was a lot of fatherless, dear friends of mine, and they gravitated towards my family because we had the 2 in the household. So I had a lot of examples from uncles and cousins. And for you, what were some of your examples?
As far
as being a caretaker or witnessing men in your family, were there any outside of moms?
No, it was just moms. I mean,
Wow.
my mom had a boyfriend that I took dearly, was Vondale. Nice soul, man. From what I remember, like I say, we ain't always doing what we need to do. Not only as a child but also as an adult. So some things we disagreed on, but as a totality, he was a good example for me to see and to remember, because a lot of of your childhood you don't really remember, or you can remember, but you really got to tap into it. And so what I tapped into is what I can remember. What I remember is good. So I took that and kind of built it on as what my mother just taught me. Take care of yourself. Don't worry about or wait on somebody else to take care of you. I know how to cook. She taught me how to cook. She taught me how to clean. More women things, feminine side of me. But again, you need both, because you're gonna need the understanding of how this woman is feeling. So she gave me that, and as far as like male figures, it was just more so the guys I hoop with. As far as the male figures, I always go to the court after school about 3:15, stay out there about 4 or 5 hours, and we'll hoop. Male figures would kind of watch after me, because I was just more so focused on hooping. I wasn't trying to run the streets. So they could just kind of kept me in line, and I would listen to them as far as the masculine side of it, and just kind of pick up things as I go through life. And I'm here today, and 37, I'm alive, healthy, and just trying to be a better individual, soul on this earth, to anybody. Just be a good brother.
How do you find yourself dealing with conflicts? Even amongst brothers, being that you weren't raised up around men, and but being able to still navigate life, and now that you're a father too, those things will come up. How do you find yourself dealing with conflict?
Man, before I was a hothead on the basketball court. I mean, you call me a hothead, but I mean, just kind of anything would kind of just set me off. But it would take a lot to get me there. When you call it, say, a silent assassin, I'll play, but one thing could happen and I'm just more locked in than I would be before. So when it comes to dealing with men, back then we'd just, sprawl it out instead of having a conversation, because sometimes words, has meaning. So you can have a conversation with a brother, because that could just be a misunderstanding, and you two can always, come together. As it says, love thy brother as thyself.
Yeah.
You are my reflection. I treat you how I want to be treated. If I know it's bitterness in you, I can't show bitterness towards you, because that's just what you know. I got to show you love. You don't know how to react to that, but you can adapt to it. Again, we all have free will and choice. So that's kind of like now how I do my best to kind of deal with men. Again, I mean, you back down to nobody, you hold your ground, but like I say, I'm trying to be a really good soul on this earth with meaning and purpose, more so than just run off emotions and feelings feelings, which ain't gonna get you nowhere. You got to be more logic.
I must say, just for my little bit connecting with you, I would say I don't think you're trying anymore. I think you actually are. You've been a really sweet example in this community, just from observation, from a distance, and thanks for representing that. And coming to a close, I have 2 questions for you. Is there anything that you would love to share with fathers in particular from you that may, that you find that you would like to just tap on to brothers who are also coming to fatherhood, or even fathers already out there? Anything in particular?
Man, just mostly help each other out if you can. Come across a brother and, never know, man. A conversation, he may be in need of something, might just need something to pick him up, and just, just to relieve whatever he got going on. Just be an ear more than a talker. We need to do a little bit more listening than just kind of talking. Aside from that, man, just help me. I mean, every day is a new experience, so you can't really prepare for it.
Right.
You can just adapt and be ready, like you said. Game plan. Have a game plan, but you're gonna adapt. But I call it stick to the game plan. Map out what you want. Manifest what you want.
What would you like to say? Because to me, video is a small sense of immortality in some regards. Because this is going to be around for a long time, and this is something that you could actually say to your daughter, or she may run across this 20 years from now. what would you like to say to your future self, or even to your future daughter, who is here now?
First of all, man, just remember who you are
Mm.
and stay true to yourself. Don't allow anybody, being relatives, family, friends, to take you away from who you are. You are who you are. You just have to remember. And once you remember, you can unlock certain things, this being anybody. And once you unlock those things, you are more powerful than you fail to realize.
Mm.
So, thank you for having me.
Mm.
Thank you for this conversation. Didn't know what to expect. I'll be honest. I'm glad it's on camera because I'm raw. So, but just being able to talk and get a lot of things off, I say, out of my head, out on, I wouldn't even say paper, but out on this camera, out to the world is, looking back 20 years later, would be an honor.
Much gratitude. Wow. For all the pearls that was dropped in the hearts through this conversation, I pray that they just wrinkled out as a wave for anything in particular that really stood out for all of you all. And to future Zamora, wow, you have a precious father here. And I take honor to hearing about you. And I look forward to the opportunity to meet you all in due times. But for this segment of Talk to Me, Dad, we're grateful, honored, and deeply, deeply appreciated for having this opportunity to talk to the beloved. Give thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Much, much, much appreciation.